Hello everyone, it has been another week and I am still here. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to be talking about today is bookstores and Borders and the rise of the ebook. As everyone may know, if you're watching this, that Borders has gone. It's gone. The buildings are empty. Like, the furniture from my Borders is now at my high school, holding books in my library. It is severely depressing for me. I do a lot of reading. I have been reading since I was in elementary school with Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events. In fact, A Series of Unfortunate Events was the book series that got me reading, oddly enough. The second book series that I avidly read was Harry Potter. My dad read those to me, even though I wasn't old enough to read myself. Complicated, so well, it's kind of cute. Third series I read was the Twilight series. Please don't give me hate for that. But shortly after Breaking Dawn came out, I got into The Hunger Games. And that just fueled my love of reading so much, and I love reading and writing now. I'm reading all sorts of books, and it's so enjoyable. But then I thought books were always going to be this physical thing that you can hold in your hand. A physical thing that you can hold in your hand and read. Like, smell the pages, see the stuff for yourself. And then my mom brought home a Kindle, and I thought, well, I've heard of these before, they're kind of cool. Books in your hand that you can take everywhere with you, but I know that stuff that I like isn't on Kindle format yet. And then I found out that some of the books I do like are in Kindle format, and I started reading on a Kindle. I pointed at myself for that because I feel like I contributed to the fall of the book. And the closing of Borders is a really devastating blow to the people who love the nice feel of the cover of a book, the feeling of holding a book in your hands for the first time, like how it feels to pick up a book for the first time in the bookstore and page through it to see what it's like. And I don't have that opportunity anymore. I have to drive down to Boulder to find a good bookstore. I will admit that e-readers have their advantages and disadvantages. I myself have the Kindle app on my iPod so that I can read The Hunger Games whenever I want. And strangely, I like having the comfort of a book that's right next to me, that I can always read, and like the fact that it's like a bunch of books on one tiny little thing that you can, it's amazing, right? Then you get to the disadvantages, like it is a tiny little screen and you have to flip like 100 times more than you would usually have to with a regular book. There's just that feeling of holding the book, as I've said. Like, I remember my first midnight book release, and it was fantastic, and there were nerds who were jumping up and down excited about books and stuff like that. It's a real tangible thing when you have an actual book in front of you. It's easier to get sucked into the world of literature when you have a physical, real book. But when you have it on your iPod, or your iPhone, or your Kindle, or something, or your iPad, something, you could just be reading this and this and that, you could just be reading along, and all of a sudden, blink, oh look, I have a message from Facebook. Let me navigate away from the book and go check Facebook. And then you get too distracted by, oh, I haven't played Angry Birds in a couple minutes or whatever. And the book gets left aside. No, the ebook is left aside for you to finish sometime else. You think, I can always get back to it, which is an advantage, I guess. Which brings us to the popularity of ebooks and how portable they are and how wonderful it is to always have like 1,000 books with you. J.K. Rowling even is converting the Harry Potter books to ebook format. And it's sort of like, well, she's sort of doing us a favor by not killing so many trees, and another upside. But this leads to the decline of books and book sales. And then you get the falling of a book titan. You get the falling of Borders. Then it's gone. And people are without jobs. There's an empty, it's like a visible hole in your heart to see the empty Borders bookstore. I like some recommendations on books that I like. Here are a few. The Percy Jackson series. The Heroes of Olympus. The new book, Son of Neptune, comes out next week. And I am going to be getting my copy! A Kiss in Time. By the same author as Beastly. Beastly is another good book to read. Alex Flynn is a good author. I've also heard that Paper Towns and Looking for Alaska and Will Grayson are all really good. But since I don't have any bookstores in my town anymore, I can't go and buy them. So I will get them as soon as I have the money. I think it goes without saying for Hunger Games and Hunger Games and Harry Potter, I would strongly encourage that you read them if you haven't already. Maximum Ride. The newest book in the series, Angel, came out recently. I haven't read anything since Max. Anyway, those are my book recommendations and my rant on books and the lack thereof anymore. If you have any comments on on the great ebook debate, post them below. I will see you next week.